Hello, I'm Nigel. You may already know me through my books, the 100 Things series, for example, or you may know me through my LinkedIn learning courses. I spend my days coaching leaders and working with their teams, whether I'm doing leadership training, retreats, and I find myself working all over the world. But I've discovered people are people and leaders are leaders. So I'd like in this video to share some tips that I've realized are universally true. And today's video is focusing on you as a leader and how well you lead yourself. I'm pretty sure you're good at leading other people. You know, skills of delegating, mastering communication skills, varying your leadership style, thinking about how you influence people. But I'll tell you something, the leaders I work with, the one person they struggle to work with well, they struggle to lead is themselves. Sometimes we call it self-leadership. And I'm telling you, self-leadership is hard. You know, it's easy to give other people instructions, advice, direction, work on their behaviors with them. But do it on yourself, that's not easy. And I've seen too many leaders actually fail as leaders in their roles because they're not managing themselves well. Whether it's their mindset, their habits, their behaviors, their emotions. And so I want to help you ensure that your self-leadership is as good as it can be and it doesn't hold you back from the sort of success that you can achieve in your role, no matter whether you're a manager, a director, a VP, a supervisor in your organization. So, the first thing I wanted to sort of talk about, the first tip I'd like to share is that as a leader, it's about role modeling. It's not enough to think you're leading yourself well, but it's to really consciously ensure that your actions speak louder than your words, that you try and demonstrate the qualities you'd like everyone around you to exhibit, whether it's being thoughtful, listening well, taking the initiative, or being innovative. And a simple question you could ask yourself is, what example am I setting when no one's watching? When I'm not on best behavior, when perhaps I'm trying a little bit harder to behave well? What am I doing when no one's watching? And I'd encourage you every day to ask yourself that. And see what comes up. See what sorts of habits or behaviors that you realize you should be working on. And one of those particular habits is one that is super important. And that's my second tip or advice, is that emotional control is non-negotiable, for lack of better words. That there's no excuse for any of us not controlling our emotions. But I know it's hard. And for some of us, it's super hard. Maybe it's losing our temper, showing sarcasm, being cold. Maybe it's going silent and avoiding difficult conversations. But when I work with leaders and I watch them in action, and I work with teams and I watch team members in action, oh boy, it's so obvious when I can see someone in the room having poor EQ or emotional intelligence. The way they react, the way they upset people or give people the silent treatment or go into a poor me mode. So my advice to you is, in addition to thinking from the first tip about, am I being a role model? when no one's watching, am I doing the right thing? The second tip about emotional intelligence is also important. And it's about pausing, reflecting as often as possible before responding. Pausing, reflecting, and then responding. Maybe it's in a meeting where you've been challenged and your blood is boiling and you want to get angry. Pause, reflect, and then decide how do you want to respond. Or maybe it's a situation where someone's taking credit for your work and you want to write a really strong email and CC lots of people and show your anger. May not be the best thing to do. So pause, reflect, and then decide, do I need to write an email or talk to somebody, or do I stay silent? So ask yourself, daily, regularly at least, where am I reacting emotionally instead of responding wisely? The third and final key insight for today, building on how well you role model and walk your talk and how well you control your emotions, is to also have a think about, do I lead with the right values? And am I being consistent in the values I have? Whether values might be ones of integrity, there might be ones of being details oriented, about the way you delegate and empower people. So are you being consistent in how you come across in terms of your values? And it starts by asking yourself, what are my values? What do I stand for? What's important for me? Write them down. Google core values, an individual's values, a leader's values. What might they be? But develop your own list. Don't copy a list, but use other lists maybe to give you thoughts, to prompt you. But if you don't know your own values and try and follow them, then it's really hard to consistently lead other people. But if you consistently have some values and you operate from those, you become to be seen as predictable, grounded, someone who's consistently walking their talk. And that's the kind of leader people like to follow. That's the kind of leader that people will trust. So, I don't know whether you are in a leadership role now, or you're aspiring to go into one, or maybe you want to grow. Maybe now you're managing 5 people and you hope to manage 50, or maybe now you're managing a whole organization of thousands with a direct a team reporting to you of maybe 12. No matter what kind of leadership role you're in, remember the importance of self-leadership. And before you start spending all your time focusing on other people, what they have to do and how they are and how they're working together, spend time thinking about how well you're leading yourself. Are you role modeling? Are you controlling your emotional intelligence? And are you following some intentional, healthy values? And you know, people are watching, learning from you. They may not know what you're doing when you're controlling your emotions or thinking about your values, but they will feel the effects. And I'm telling you, if you lead yourself well, the rest will follow. That if you lead yourself well, you are definitely putting yourself on the path to success. If my advice resonates with you, do check out my book, 100 Things Successful Leaders Do. Here it is. It's available in a paperback version, it's available on Kindle online, and there's also an audio version online. And Today's video focused on Chapter 3 on self-leadership. I also encourage you, follow me on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. And you might be surprised to hear I've got 2 and soon to be 3 LinkedIn Learning video series, which I think you'll find really helpful. And if you'd like to talk to me, connect with me, be coached by me to help you and your organization, please reach out to me, email me, send me a message through LinkedIn, and I look forward to connecting. So, good luck. Become a master of self-leadership, and I wish you well on your leadership journey. And bye for now.